Yesterday was my birthday. Tomorrow it's yours. A day after would be someone else. Leap year, 365 and a quarter days, 20th century. What if I tell you that everything you know about time is wrong, and that you've been lied to all along? Well, we actually live in a lie. It's not me who said that, not even the moon or sun, but actually a 1775 Bible which reveals that everything we know about time is wrong. What if I tell you that the calendar we use today was designed to disconnect you from your true self, purpose, and put you into an illusion, distracting you from your true spiritual nature and your understanding of the universe? What makes yesterday different from today? Well, nothing. But as days pass, each new day makes you older without you even realizing it. Just like you're flipping across pages of the book, in just a blink, you're old and gone. But what if you realize you were disconnected from knowing your true self, understanding your true age? Well, let's delve deeper into this topic and unveil the hidden truth behind the calendar we use that changes everything we know about the cosmos. Nowadays, many ancient texts have been discovered, each telling a tale about the existence of humanity. Most of these books are sometimes classified as hoax or too sophisticated to get the accolades of someone in the 21st century. However, not every book must be seen in such way, as there are books that contain certain explanations capable of defying even the bravest, and one of these is the Bible written in the year 1775 AD. Did you know the first year in this Bible was in March, not January, and that the week begins on Sunday, not Monday, and even most surprisingly the year is made up of 13 months, not 12. I was amazed finding this and wanted to know more, so I asked, why did our calendar suddenly change? Who could have tampered with the dating system used by our ancestors since the foundation of the universe was laid, and why? What have we missed since the creation of this new calendar and the discarding of the old one? These questions kept me puzzled. For a long time, I wondered and decided to delve deeper into the mystery. The 13 months in a year. The idea of a calendar being 13 months sounds intriguing, right? However, many ancient civilizations considered and used the calendar not only as a natural dating system, but it was also considered to have spiritual meanings. The Hebrews, Egyptians, and Babylonians used the lunar calendar, which was based on the phases of the moon. Each month started with a new moon and lasted for 29.5 days, giving rise to a year of approximately 354 days, known as a lunar year. Balancing a lunar and solar year required an extra year to be added after several years, leading to a 13-month calendar. This wasn't done as a result of their advances in technology, but due to their deep interconnectedness with the natural world. The cyclic phases of the moon was seen as the eternal cycles of birth, growth, death, and rebirth. Every phase of the moon signifies a different energy level, having influence on the natural world, human psychology, and spiritual practices. However, this didn't last long. With the rise of the Roman Empire and spread of Christianity, the calendar was changed from a 13-month lunar calendar to a 12-month solar calendar. This shift caused a great transformation in the way humanity observed time. The Julian calendar, introduced in 45 BC by Julio Caesar, started the shift. The calendar was a solar calendar modeled to bring order and ease in predictions to the expanding of the Roman Empire territories. It had a standard of 12 months with 365.25 days in alignment with the solar cycle, rather than the lunar. This was not only done due to the need for accuracy, but also a shift in values from a natural cycle-based understanding of time to a linear structure. During Caesar's reign, the lunar calendar with its 13 months was thought to be too unpredictable and too fluid for his empire that wanted absolute control and uniformity. Only by adopting a solar calendar can the Romans have a rigid hold on the structure of time that can mirror the socio-political order they wanted to maintain. Since this shift occurred, the 13-month, which was a key part of the calendar, was removed. As a result, a bigger understanding of time and spirituality was lost. The shift from lunar calendar to solar calendar had clear consequences. for the 13-month calendar wasn't just all about indicating time, but actually sought to account for life as a continuous cycle as birth, growth, and death were not just mere stages, but has a profound interconnectedness in a larger celestial sphere. The different phases of the moon is a visible evidence showing that all things in life are connected to one another, as every ending is followed by a new beginning, and that time is not linear but circular. Ever since we abandoned the 13-month calendar in favor of a 12-month calendar, we started to see time as a straight line of progression from past to future, not as a series of interconnected cycles, giving only a small room for fluid and interconnectedness that make up the lunar calendar. Diving deeper into the history of calendars, we begin to see patterns with huge gravity where spiritual principles and natural order were systematically removed and substituted by strong political and powerful religious authorities. This shift wasn't just about dates printed on a calendar, but how humanity, as a host and representative in the cosmos, have become disconnected from its origin itself. This disconnectedness leads us to ponder for the implications of this shift. How has the shift from a cyclilinar calendar to a linear solar calendar impacted the natural order, spirituality of humanity, and our relationship with the natural environment? The answers to these questions are both profound and unsettling. First, let's consider the spiritual implications. Most ancient cultures viewed time not just as a matter of days or months. It was a secret principle that deeply intertwined the cycles of nature and the cosmic sphere. The 13-month lunar calendar was a reflection of the secret understanding of time, with every month being associated with a specific phase of the moon. These phases were linked to different spiritual qualities and energies. For instance, the new moon was a time of new beginnings, time to plant seed and set a plan for the future. The full moon, having the brightest features, was a time of celebration, culmination, and a time to harvest the fruit of one's labor. The time for reflection, release, and letting go was attributed to the waning moon as it gradually disappeared from the sky. It was a time to prepare for the next cycle. These phases were deeply rooted in the spiritual practices of the time, showing they weren't mere hypotheses. Festivals, ceremonies, and rituals were often coinciding with specific lunar phases, aligning cosmic rhythms with the patterns of human activities. The alignment was essential for maintaining the balance and togetherness of the community and its citizens. But when the lunar cycle was replaced by the solar cycle, and the 13 months removed from the calendar, the profound meaning of time was shattered, and the spiritual practices that were so interconnected to the cycles of the moon became disrupted from their natural order. Lunar ritual practices that were based on the phase of a moon were now replaced by a mere solar ritual practices. The outcome is the gradual disintegration of the profound spiritual wisdom that has guided humanity since the onset of our existence. Without the guidance of the lunar calendar, we've lost contact with our spiritual values linked with the cyclical nature of existence. We've long since been separated from the celestial strings that govern our lives. Hence, I can say that we've lost a vital source of spiritual nourishment and guidance. This impact clearly goes beyond spirituality, extending to every aspect of our lives, from the way we design our weeks to how we celebrate holidays. For example, Christmas is traditionally celebrated on December 25th. It can also be referred to as Christianization of pagan winter solstice festivals. But what if Christmas, like other festivals, was originally aligned with a different time of the year, one that focuses upon a more meaningful natural cycle? If March was the first month of the year, Christmas would fall on the 10th month, not at the end of the year, raising perplexing questions about the timing and origins of our most cherished traditions. Could we have shifted the spiritual significance of these events by replacing our calendar? What if the true meaning of these holidays has been overshadowed by the changes imposed over the centuries? And most importantly, why was the 13th month removed from our calendar? Since ancient times, the number 13 has always been attributed to fear and superstition, especially in Western cultures. However, in many ancient traditions, 13 was considered a highly sacred number, as it signifies transformation, rebirth, and the lunar cycles. Numerology associates 13 with change and new beginnings and has qualities that are deeply connected to the spiritual journey. This attempt to remove the 13th month is viewed by many as a means used by authorities to create a distance between the society and the transformative energies, where they seek to align time in a rigid linear structure rather than the organic cyclical nature of the cosmos. Removing the 13-month calendar does not only cut us from the natural cycles that once guided our lives, but we've also lost contact with the profound spiritual wisdom that these cycles contain. The 13th month, which is associated with rebirth and transformation, was evident that life is an unending cycle of birth, growth, death, and change, without which our understanding of time is never dynamic, but rather static, free from the fluid and dynamic characteristics of the lunar calendar. But the consequences of this shift is beyond the spiritual realm and extends to the way we organize our lives, design our activities, and even understand our place in the universe. Reordering the days of the week. In the Bible, Saturday is commonly known as the Sabbath and considered the seventh day, a day of rest and spiritual renewal. This tradition dates back to Judaism, where Saturday was marked as a sacred day, reflecting the biblical account of how God rested on the seventh day after creation. However, with the spread of Christianity and the baptism of Emperor Constantine into Christ, Sunday rose to prominence. Constantine was willing to unify his empire under one religion, so he decided to declare Sunday, the day of the sun, as the official day of rest and worship. His decision was not entirely based on a religious purpose, as he also designed the day in order to bring the Christian and pagans of the empire together. Aligning the day of worship with the sun was a symbol of great importance in many ancient traditions. Thus, with this fact, he can successfully merge two worlds. However, this too had profound spiritual implications. Sunday, originally attributed to the day of the sun and renewal, became the first day of the week, changing the focus from rest and spiritual renewal to creation and new beginnings. This led the weekly traditional order, with its deep spiritual importance, to be dismantled, and hence the flow of time and energy. This changes impacted the way time was seen and experienced, as the traditional 7-day system, which emphasized on rest and renewal, was replaced by a systematic approach that focused on work and productivity. Saturday, the last day of the week, and the day of rest, was pushed to edge, losing much of its spiritual importance, while Sunday, the first day, became a day of creation and action. It reflects a broader cultural changes, as societies that cared about rest, reflection, and spiritual renewal now prioritize work, productivity, and material success. The outcomes of this are clear evidence even in our modern world, where work dominates the greatest part of our lives and rest is luxury or laziness rather than a necessity. Here, the spiritual aspect of life is clearly dominated by the material and other physical aspects of life. But can we reconnect to the benign ancient rhythms that once guided our ancestors? Can we restore the balance between work and rest, action and reflection, material and the spiritual? This 1775 Bible tells us that it is not only possible to restore our connections with the natural order, but also essential for our well-being and spiritual growth. Let's say our week begins with Sunday, a day of creation and new beginnings, and ends with Saturday, a day of rest and renewal. Consider a calendar with 13 months, each aligned with the different phases of the moon, serving as a guide through the cycles of life, death, and rebirth. Think of a year that starts in March, a time to rise and renew one's mind, when Earth sees life once again after the long winter is over. This dream can be a reality because time is no longer seen as a tool for marking days, but as a sacred hum that connects us to the cosmic sphere, the Earth, and to one another. To dominate with this notion, we've to study and understand the nature of the forces that shaped our understanding of time. This shift from lunar cycle to a solar cycle-based calendar wasn't just for practical reasons, but for the purpose of making successful moves and wins over a fast-growing empire. With a standard time, the Roman Empire was capable of controlling larger populations with ease. displace religious observances, and create a unique system of rule. But this ample move came at a cost. While trying to merge time with the solar calendar, the Roman Empire minimized the consequences of ruling out the cyclian system, which was embodied with profound spiritual wisdom. Lunar cycles, which guided agricultural practices, religious festivals, and spiritual growth, were replaced by a rigid linear one that prioritizes control over connection. Today, the consequences are: time is often perceived as a series of schedules, deadlines, and appointments. A mentality that gives little time for reflection, renewal, or spiritual growth. We no longer have the abilities and knowledge about our role in the cosmos like our ancestors did. It wasn't supposed to be this way. The 1775 Bible offers us a glimpse into the different way of understanding time, that which is more aligned with the cycles of nature, patterns of the cosmic objects, and rhythms of the celestial sphere. With these, we can realign the balance and togetherness in our lives, reconnecting with the ancient wisdom that has been lost over time. Thus, we see that the way we measure time isn't just about how convenient it is, but how we connect to the natural environment around us. If we can reclaim this ancient wisdom, we may be sure to live a life of harmony with the natural world, to live in the cycle that governs our lives, and to rediscover the spiritual truths that have been obscured through the passage of time. Yet, despite all the proven benefits of rest, intentionally setting aside regular time for rest is a practice that has become undervalued and underappreciated in today's culture. We have become overworked, overstressed, and exhausted. Yet, Sabbath, which is setting aside one day each week for rest, remains a dying practice that less and less people practice regularly. Overlooking the importance of rest is certainly not unique to our modern society. But our culture has made it increasingly difficult to take rest without specific intentionality. Let's look into some of the factors prevalent in our modern society that argue against the idea of rest. Rest has become confused with laziness. We live in a society that praises those who work 60 hours per week and makes faulty assumptions about those who work 40. We have confused rest with laziness. And while too much rest may indeed be an indicator of sloth, the regular practice of finding rest is not. The desire for money has become unquenchable. Modern society loves money. We love it to a point that we will sacrifice much of ourselves to gain more of it. Some sacrifice morals, character, or family. Others consider rest a fair trade and will gladly sacrifice it at the altar of the almighty dollar. Success is measured incorrectly. Similarly, we have begun to measure success by the amount of cash in savings, the size of our homes, or the model of our cars. Unfortunately, this is a faulty measure of success. The true test of success should be measured in significance rather than success. But oftentimes finding significance requires us to rest long enough to recalibrate our lives around the things that matter most. A misunderstanding that rest is purely physical. Rest is physical, but it is more than that. It is mental, emotional, and spiritual. It is an understanding that the world is going to survive without you. It is an inner strength that allows you to disconnect from accomplishing work and focus on yourself and those around you. It is not mere physical leisure. It is rest. Body and soul. There are more prevalent factors that often sway the modern society from understanding the true purpose of rest. So, that's the lie they've been feeding us since the time of the Roman Empire. And even today, many of us are highly persuaded into pursuing illusions rather than finding the right answer about why we truly live and why we should value the Sabbath. But if we realign our lives with the ancient rhythms reflected in the 1775 Bible, we might begin to see rest not as a luxury, but as a vital part of the cycle of life. Restoring the reflection and renewal, we can create a more sustainable and fulfilling type of life. That concludes the presentation of today's video. If you have any additional thoughts or reactions to share regarding this astonishing video, please feel free to leave them in the comment section below. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel, and be sure to check out the video currently displayed on your screen. You won't want to miss it, as it is truly amazing and mind-blowing.